so they need to check themselves before they wreck themselves, because it ain't about them. It's about the country. And we need to give our military members as much support as we possibly can. And I told this to the Admiral yesterday. I said, look, I don't want you to have a millisecond hesitancy in order for you to effectuate the orders that you're given, because they're lawful. And that's what these people are trying to do. Make our military members second-guess lawful orders. And that leads to destruction. And I'll just say this, and I know you got to go. If we spent as much time, there's 11 people killed in the first attack. Imagine if we spent as much time discussing killing 11 Nazis as we did talking about killing the people that are responsible for killing 50,000 Americans every year. Imagine, this interview would be in German if we did that. There you go. That's it. I will not. No, I will not. But I will tell you this. I watched that whole thing, and everything I've been saying from the beginning was true. 100% lawful. And the right thing to do for America. So in the military, this is what a lot of people don't understand, John. In the military, we don't shoot at people, we shoot them. And we kill every single person that is trying to kill American citizens. Republican, Democrat, Independent, gay, straight, but I don't care. If you are trying to kill an American citizen, we will find you and we will kill you. That's it. There is no, that's binary. And a lot of people aren't suited to that, and that's fine. Let the men and women who are suited to that do their jobs.
A lot of time. DVO. Great quote. Told Admiral Bradley, you made me proud to be a SEAL again. I have that written down. I got to tell
You did, dude.
Listen, what people want to follow you. You're running for re-election.
Correct. Sorry.
You're the number one target. They hate you.
I know, it's great. Yeah. VanOrdenForCongress.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning to everyone listening on the John Fredericks Radio Network. Michael Patrick Leahy here this morning. It is Thursday morning, December 18th, 2025, and we are broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. It's time for the Morning Rundown, which is brought to you every day at this time by our friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com, located just a few miles from the airport right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Here we go. Here's the Morning Rundown for Thursday, December 18th, 2025. Number one, President Donald Trump delivered a 19-minute speech to the nation from the Oval Office last night on his first-year accomplishments and the coming economic boom in 2026. And as well, he announced a $1,776, that's $1,776, a bonus for every member of the armed forces. Number two, Newt Gingrich called it a speech so great it surpassed Ronald Reagan. Number three, the Washington Post called it rushed and unfocused. In studio, Crom Carmichael. Crom, good morning.
Good morning, Michael.
You and I will talk about the speech in our next segment.
Oh, goody.
There you go. Number four, Crom, the Providence, Rhode Island clown show investigation into the Brown University mass shooting continues. It's even worse than you thought. And we'll talk about that with Crom in this hour. Number five, Dan Bongino resigns as after 9 months as deputy director of the FBI. 9 months. I don't know if he was able to find the paper clips in 9 months. Number six, Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon says she's likely to investigate civil rights violations by partisan blue state attorney generals and partisan blue state cities of MAGA supporters. Tom Pappert will join us in hour 2 to talk about that. Number 7, more ICE resistance from blue city mayors. We got a clip from a weaselly liberal in Evanston, Illinois, you know where Northwestern University is. And number 8, Fani, not Fanny, Fani Willis was called to testify before the Georgia State Senate. And Crom, she has learned no lessons. She didn't answer any questions. She was combative, and, it's kind of weird. So there you go. Crom, that is the Morning Rundown, brought to you every day at this time by our friends at The Glock Store. This is when we get to talk about our good friend Lenny McGill and the incredible Glock Store. Crom, have you been wondering what to get that special Second Amendment guy or gal in your life? If you have, it's never too early to start thinking about it, and never too early to save, especially, Crom, when you visit Glockstore.com. The huge Glock Christmas sale is going on now. Glock Store Christmas sale is going on now, and they have incredible discounts on virtually everything they sell. I'm talking huge discounts, Crom, on optics, barrels and compensators, magazines and extensions, extended control, slide cuts, and so much more, including incredible deals on factory rebuilt Glocks. Hey, if you can't tell the difference, why pay the difference? And Crom, don't forget to drop in a Vortex Red Dot Reindeer sticker or patch, or a Vortex Tactical Christmas Tree sticker or patch for a chance to win either a Glock 47 or a Glock 45, nicely equipped with a Vortex Red Dot optic. It really couldn't be any easier to get the best deals of the year on the best gear in the country. That's the huge Christmas sale going on now at Glockstore.com. So there you go, Crom. That's the Morning Rundown and our daily discussion of our friends at the Glock Store. Crom, did you watch the 19-minute speech last night?
I watched the last, say, maybe 14 minutes. I missed the very first part.
Well, let me help you out with
Thank
the first
you.
part.
All right.
We've got a number of clips.
Yep.
We'll show right now. Let's start off. I'm going to start in the middle because this was the part that
This part I heard.
This part I really liked. Basically, Donald Trump said, enough of that Somali fraud. Clip 10. I promise it's good.
American-born citizens, 100%. In the end, government either serves the productive, patriotic, hardworking American citizen, or it serves those who break the laws, cheat the system, and seek power and profit at the expense of our nation. Look at Minnesota, where Somalians have taken over the economics of the state and have stolen billions and billions of dollars from Minnesota and indeed from the United States of America. And we're going to put an end to it. For so long as before my election, the vast majority of good and decent Americans were forced to watch as corrupt politicians plundered the halls of power.
Okay, I'm all down with that.
Do you know why this kind of fraud happens? It's very important to understand.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
In our next segment.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about the Somali fraud.
Well, we will get to it.
Okay.
But now we want to hear the highlights.
Oh, okay.
Now we're going to talk about wages are up.
Gotcha.
Here we go, clip 5.
After years of record-setting falling incomes, our policies are boosting take-home pay at a historic pace. Under Biden, real wages plummeted by $3,000. Under Trump, the typical factory worker has seen a wage increase of $1,300. For construction workers, it's $1,800. For miners, we're bringing back clean, beautiful coal. It's $3,300. And for the first time in years, wages are rising much faster than inflation.
Okay, so here he's making the case. Look at what I've done, right?
Yes.
And it's not just wages, prices. Let's talk about prices. Clip 6.
Our Treasury for trillions of dollars, driving up prices and everything at levels never seen before. I am bringing those high prices down and bringing them down very fast. Let's look at the facts. Under the Biden administration, car prices rose 22%, and in many states, 30% or more. Gasoline rose 30 to 50%. Hotel rates rose 37%. Airfares rose 31%. Now, under our leadership, they are all coming down and coming down fast. Democrat politicians also sent the cost of groceries soaring, but we are solving that too. The price of a Thanksgiving turkey was down 33% compared to the Biden last year. The price of eggs is down 82% since March, and everything else is falling rapidly. And it's not done yet, but boy, are we making progress. Nobody can believe what's going on. Here are just some of the efforts that we have underway. You will see in your wallets and bank accounts in the new year. After years of record-setting falling incomes, our policies are boosting take-home pay at a historic pace.
Okay, so there we go. Crom, 19 minutes. You saw the last 14 minutes.
Yes.
Gingrich said it was fabulous. The Washington Post said it was rushed and unfocused. What do you think?
It was both. It was both.
It was fabulously rushed and unfocused?
No, what I'm saying is Washington Post was more interested in thinking about Trump's pacing, and Newt Gingrich was focused more on the content, and the content was absolutely fabulous. Mm-hmm. The fact that Trump was determined to give this speech in under 20 minutes, and the number and his accomplishments are so numerous,
he couldn't do it all.
He had to be rushed.
Jam it in.
He had to be rushed.
Why was he determined to give it in 20 minutes?
Well, you'd have to ask him. But I think he wanted to stay. This is the shortest speech I think he's ever given, and he wanted to stay extremely focused on his accomplishments and the economy. And I want to talk about this wages and prices thing in the next segment.
We will get to it.
This will be key for the midterms.
My take on this is this speech was a necessary precondition
yes.
of the midterm elections.
Exactly.
Well, we're in agreement.
Well said, Michael.
We'll be back with the original All-Star panelist, Crom Carmichael, after this.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Befur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BefurandAfterGrooming.com. Befur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
My Patriot Supply, America's most trusted survival food company, wishes you and yours a very Merry Christmas. As our gift to you, we've got an amazing deal on survival food kits. Buy one, gift two. That's right, for a limited time, when you grab our best-selling 4-week emergency food kit, we'll include 2 one-week kits free to hand out as gifts. That's 4 weeks of emergency food for you, and 2 ready-to-give gifts for anyone on your list who's into preparedness, or anyone who needs a nudge in that direction. But they're only available for a limited time. Grab yours at mypatriotsupply.com and give the gift of food security this Christmas. With 2,000 calories per day, 16 delicious meal and snack varieties, and up to 25-year shelf life, it's no wonder our 4-week food kit is the best-selling emergency food supply of all time. But the buy one, give two Christmas special won't last long. So claim yours now at mypatriotsupply.com. That's mypatriotsupply.com.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This Christmas, my heart is filled with gratitude. The birth of Jesus Christ changed the world forever, bringing hope, peace, and a Savior who walks with us through every season. I'm grateful for this community, for your kindness, and for the chance to serve alongside you in a meaningful ways throughout the year ahead. From my family to yours, Merry Christmas. May God bless you, your home. Happy birthday, Jesus.
Paid for by Mark Pody for Senate, Candace Graham Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, the original All-Star panelist, the one, the only, Crom Carmichael. Crom has been on Nashville radio now for, 40 years?
Please don't say that.
Is it 40 years?
Oh, my gosh.
You were a teenager.
I think you're right.
You were a teenager when you started.
That's right. Wow, 1985. Yeah,
and
you're
again,
right.
for those who are not familiar with our friendship, it began when I moved here in 1991. I didn't know anything about Nashville, but I had a general positive attitude about Tennessee, having just escaped from California.
Well,
and so I'm listening on the radio when Teddy Bart used to have this round table, and it was a good show. It was really the only political talk show of note at that time.
It sure was.
It sure was. And so I would listen to all these liberals, and then I heard this guy who was building the edifice of logic.
Logic is the key word.
Yeah.
Logic.
And that was Crom Carmichael. And I said, this guy knows what he's talking about. So I called you up, Crom, and we went to barbecue.
Yes.
And we've been friends ever since.
Yes, we have.
And you've been with us here on my radio show now for 7 or 8 years? From the beginning.
No. Steve Gill was.
Oh, right.
Steve Gill was on.
So you started in 2019.
I started after Steve.
Yeah. So you were with us since 6 years.
Yeah. Wow.
Every week.
Time flies.
The original, and the reason we call him the original All-Star panelist because he was an All-Star panelist with Teddy Bart
way back when.
When he was a teenager back in 1985.
Yes. There we go. There we go.
Crom. Okay, so let's apply the edifice of logic to Donald Trump's wages up, prices coming down argument made before the country last night.
Yeah, well, there's 2 or 3 things that are important. First of all, the inflation report I think came out this morning.
Yes, I saw that
for the last month.
What was it?
But what's important is how they measure it. Well, not the components. That's a whole nother. That's another subject, but it came out as 2.7% year, and here's the key: year over year. In September, it was 3% year over year. Now, the important part of that
it's going the right direction.
Is not just the year over year.
Yeah.
In order to go from 3% over a 12-month period, year over year in September, to 2.7 year over year in 90 days. In order to do that, inflation has to be about 1.5% for the last month.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means that inflation at the current level is running under 2%. And I'm going to bet, Michael, in the first quarter, inflation will run on at least one or two of those months at zero.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that is that I believe mortgage rates will come down another at least 50 basis points in the first 6 months.
Okay, so
and that
for
means
our listeners,
that means 0.5%.
For our listeners, yeah, okay, thanks, who aren't investment bankers, that means 0.5%.
That means 0.5%. So if somebody's buying the median price house is, I believe it's around $450,000. So if they pay $100,000 down, I'm just using simple examples. And so they have a $350,000 mortgage. Since Trump has become president, rates will have fallen about 1.25% to 1.5%. That is a $5,000, $4,000 to $5,000 a year in lower payments. Now, I don't know how the inflation numbers calculate the lowering of interest rates compared to the actual price of the house. And so to me, what matters is the monthly payment, not the price of the house. Because if interest rates come down, and that, by the way, cars will be cheaper to buy because the interest on the cars will be lower. You're now beginning to see for the first time in a number of years where they're saying we'll finance your car 60-month interest free. Well, that's a huge reduction in the monthly payment, and this is all due to Trump's economic policies. The left hates it, but the other thing that's gone unnoticed is that spending for Trump is down. Federal spending is down under Trump, and so and by the way, I've maintained that what drives inflation more than any other single thing, there are other things that drive it, but more than any other single thing, is if you have a dramatic increase in the rate of federal spending.
Oh, yeah.
An increase in the rate of federal spending. Under Biden, you had a tremendous increase in the rate of federal spending in his first 2 years in office, and the inflation reflected that. Now what you're seeing is, and this is, it's only recently begun to really hit, because when Trump came into office, it took him a few months where he offered federal employees. He said, we're going to be laying off a lot of federal employees, but if you want to take a 6-month severance package where you get fully paid for 6 months, you can take it. And a lot of federal employees over that next 90 days took that, which meant that their salaries, even though they were gone as federal employees, their salaries were still being paid for the next 6 months.
Right.
Which means that the fourth quarter of this year is when those 6 month salaries will drop off of the federal budget. And so the first quarter of next year will see a dramatic drop in federal spending in the first 90 days. Now, I want to talk a little bit, Michael, and because we brought up this Somali thing in the if it's
we
okay,
sure did.
Can we bring that up?
Sure,
there?
absolutely.
Right. Here's what's going on there, and this is really important. And so I'm going to try to describe why it happened, and the solution. What happened was you had a whole bunch of people who were bilking the system by making claims to Obamacare and Medicaid and the SNAP program, claiming that they were doing things and giving money to people who are in need who didn't exist.
Yeah.
And so it was completely phony.
A complete grift.
Yeah. Now, there were whistleblowers in Minnesota who worked for the state, because all of these things are state administered.
The money comes from the feds, and then the states administer.
1/4 of it comes from the states.
Got it.
3/4 of it comes from the feds, and but the states administer it. And so every time the state says, "Mr. Feds, I've spent a quarter," the federal government just automatically gives them 75 cents. That's how it works. And so if the money is being spent within the state, and most of it was, some of it apparently went to terrorists back in Africa, but most of it was spent within the state of Minnesota. If you are a governor of Minnesota and you care only about Not whether or not it's right or wrong or honest or dishonest. If you don't care about any of those things, and Tim Walz does not care about any of those things.
No, he does not.
He only cared about whether or not the money was being spent in Minnesota, which boosted the economy of Minnesota because 3/4 of the money was coming from Washington and being spent in Minnesota. California Walz and Minnesota are perhaps on a per capita basis the worst of any state in the country in that regard. But California, compared to Florida, California spends 3 times as much per person. And I'm not talking about of the people who are on Medicaid. I'm talking about on the population.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of money that California collects from the federal government is multiple times more than Florida. And so the problem is it's this 3-to-1 matching. That what it does is it gives incentives to dishonest politicians. It gives them incentive to just look away from fraud because the money comes to your state.
Right.
So the solution is to turn Medicaid and the food stamp program, which is under Medicaid, to turn it into a block grant. And have Congress say we're going to block grant money based on we're going to give every state a certain amount of money based on your total population. We're going to give you a certain amount of money, and you figure out how to spend it to help the people in need in your state. And if you run out of money, then it proves that you don't know how to manage your state. And so it makes the governors and it makes the politicians in those states focus on acting responsibly, which will be very difficult for the politicians in California. Very difficult.
They can't do it.
Very difficult for the politicians.
It's not in their DNA.
No. Well, but Michael, if you are forced to do it, if it's not in your DNA to do it, but if you are forced to do it, then you have no choice. And block granting the money on these types of entitlements is simply the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And
we'll close out. What's the likelihood that
Congress might do
that?
Congress might do that. Congress might do that because you can do that under reconciliation.
Good point.
Yeah.
Crom, when we come back, we're going to go up north. I know we don't like to because we're in the South, but we're going to go up north to the clown show. That is the Brown University shooting investigation.
You're being kind.
I know.
By calling it a clown show.
Back with Crom Carmichael after this on Michael Patrick Leahy.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
The math is simple. Every dollar we waste on unnecessary federal supervision is a dollar we can't use to fight violent crime. The Safer Supervision Act cuts bureaucratic waste and frees up law enforcement resources to protect families from serious threats. Law enforcement officers across the country and Republicans in Congress agree this is a smarter way to improve public safety. Stop the waste, protect our communities, fix federal supervision. Visit safersupervision.com to help. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Ponder this. Most of us in America have more than we need to sustain ourselves, like a roof over our heads, food to eat, and clothes to wear, and much more. The one thing we seem to be lacking every day is more time. There is never enough time in our day, or in a night for that matter. That being said, we try to create more time each day by rushing around to perhaps buy a little more time. We rush from one event to another. We double or even triple task to save time. We drive fast cars to get to our fast food restaurants. Our days are full with little time left for family, friends, and God. To better manage your pace, take a minute each morning to get on your knees and let the Lord know that you are giving Him all your time today. Sincerely ask Him to give you clear direction on what He wants you to accomplish each day. The Lord will make sure you have plenty of time for His will to be done without rushing around. Listen to the Lord to manage your time each day. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
My fellow Americans, I have to tell you about my good friends at D.T. McCall & Sons. They have furniture and appliances and a lot more. They've been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years, and they're not going to rip you off. No hidden charges, no delivery charges, no charges for all of the crazy things. These are sick people at the lumber yards. These are very sick people. They charge you for cords and hoses and haul off. They charge you for all of these things. They call them hidden charges. It's the type of surprise that you don't want to see. It's like an October surprise, but it's worse. D.T. McCall & Sons, they're not going to do that. They're great people. They're going to give you a great deal. With locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, D.T. McCall & Sons will give you the deal of your life. Check them out today or go to dtmccalls.com.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Original All-Star panelist Crom Carmichael here in studio on Saturday. Crom, Saturday morning, a so-called unknown gunman shouted something, allegedly, and murdered 2 students in a study hall in Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island, and injured 9 others, and skipped out, and nobody's found him since. That was Saturday. Crom.
Right.
We have watched incredulously at the entire incompetence of the president of Brown University, who knows nothing, like Sergeant Schultz in Hogan's Heroes, the chief of police of Providence, Rhode Island, who can barely speak English, the attorney general of Rhode Island, who also not actively wants to know nothing, and the chief of police for Brown University.
Well, and the mayor.
And the mayor.
And the mayor of
Mayor
the
Smiley.
town. Yeah.
Now, I called it in the previous segment, a clown show. We have a call in. I can't take it, but the head of the Clowns Association of America is taking umbrage at that.
Yes.
We are far superior to, and I think they're right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to play this clip from the chief of police, Perez, born in Medellin, Colombia.
Okay.
Came to the United States when he was 13, which is about, 35 years ago.
Yeah.
Still can't speak English in ways that...
he speaks English, but...
He's got a terrible accent.
But
he can't understand it.
Well, part of his press conference apparently he gave it, I heard it, giving it in Spanish. And what was funny was all the people standing behind him nodding as if they understood what he was saying.
So here's the question, Crom. This happened on Saturday.
Yeah.
Very simple question. How many students were in the room, and have you interviewed them?
Have you interviewed any of them?
And here's the answer.
Explain to us 5 days later how many students were in that classroom. Sadly, 2 lost their lives, 9 others injured. Encouraged about the update today. But can you now say how many kids were in that classroom, and did the gunman come in from the back so these people never knew it was coming, or did he come in front with full view of everybody?
And that's all part of the interviews, and actually we're cooperating with Brown to get the roster. That was a study hall, so we don't have the number. We're still getting information as far as who was there. I know Brown sent out an email.
Okay, so hold it. This is 5 days later. I mean, the shooting happens. We've got the video of some police knocking on the door to come in right after the shooting, and yet, and they held those students for hours before they released them. Didn't they count them? Didn't they interview them?
Well, it is. Let me say this: if I were trying to cover up, these would be the answers that I would give. I am not saying that they are covering up, but they are incompetent almost beyond description when you consider that there are certain things that when a murder like this happens, there are certain things that you do. They say lock down the crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain things that you immediately do. And they immediately did none of them.
We don't know.
I mean, and not just immediately. They still haven't done. There was a black student who was in the room, or who was interviewed by, I think, Fox or somebody, but he was interviewed, and he said that the person came in with a long gun, and he said, "I thought I was about to die," but the guy wasn't there to shoot him. That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's
one
what
witness.
he said. And so we've only seen one witness on television, and it seems like every other student who was in that room has been told, don't let the media interview you.
Well, let me just stop and say, okay, what we don't know. What you need is, when you do the first press conference that evening, if you're serious about finding out who did this, what you do...
I'm just going to stick with competent at this point.
You lay out the timeline. The shooting happened at this time of day.
Yeah.
Police arrived at this time of day.
Right.
They held everybody there.
Yeah.
They interviewed X number of students.
Yeah.
We got this number of witnesses.
Right.
Here are the images
right.
of the shooting. Now, the other part about this is, back to your point, what did the shooter say?
Mm-hmm.
Five witnesses allegedly say, through sources, he said, Allahu Akbar.
Yeah.
The press hasn't even asked him, did he say Allahu Akbar? Well, they won't answer it, right? Because they don't want to, suggest it's ideologically motivated,
right.
which it likely is.
Well, let me say this. If the person yelled Allahu Akbar, it was politically motivated.
And let's go on to...
otherwise, he wouldn't yell that.
Let's go on to the two victims who are dead. Yeah. 9 wounded, 2 dead. All right. One of the dead is this sweet 19-year-old girl, Catholic, from Alabama, vice president of the Republican Club, a sophomore, Ella Cooks. She was apparently very prominent on campus.
Right.
One of the few Republicans on campus. Now, what we'd like to know is, was she the first one shot? That would be a clue. Also, what we'd like to know, before I get to this, is the following. We would like to have a copy of her autopsy, but guess what? Guess what, Crom? In the state of Rhode Island, they are not allowed to release autopsies to the press. They can release autopsies to the family, and then if the family wants to release it, they can do that.
Okay.
We've not made the call to her family, but there are some people that say she was targeted, she was the first shot, and she was shot multiple times. This is unconfirmed reports.
Right. And what I have also heard that would fall under the category of unconfirmed reports is that the second person who died, who was shot, was standing behind her.
Yeah.
And so
Correct.
so he may, if she was targeted and if she was shot multiple times, then the person standing behind her was in the line of fire.
A couple other things. Now, we have no official law enforcement statement that she was targeted. They're dodging that question.
Right.
We do have our friends at 1819 News in Alabama. And there are multiple reports that, one report said, no, actually Mark Halpern said this before 1819 News said it. He says people have told her parents that she was targeted. That's unconfirmed.
Yeah.
1819 News, Tommy said various people have said she was targeted. Now, here's the rule about how to stop unfounded conspiracy theories, right? Tell everything you know from the beginning. Because if you don't, there is a void, and then speculation and sleuthing begins.
Sure, fills the void.
Fills, exactly right. Fills the void.
Yeah.
Now,
but they've told absolutely nothing.
Not a thing. Not a thing.
Nothing. And so the press is asking fair questions, and they say, well, we're still investigating. We're all cooperating. That's the kind of the answer they give.
Yeah.
Which sounds either incredibly incompetent.
Yeah.
Or incredibly evasive.
It's the latter.
And what I'm saying is, it almost doesn't matter which one it is. And then you have that terrible, terrible human being, Sheldon Whitehouse, who is telling people who ask questions about this to shut up.
Yeah, just ridiculous. Now, let's go to the Brown University police chief. You know, these universities have their local police chiefs, right? And they're within Providence, or the city of Providence. The Brown University police chief, well, Jesse Waters tells you about his background in this clip right now.
And that is typical for that academic space.
So that right there is the mysterious campus safety chief, Rodney Chapman. Funny, we haven't really heard from him. Where's he been? Well, we just discovered the Brown University police chief isn't really a big fan of policing. He once said this: communities don't want policing done to them. How this guy came to Brown is a crazy story. He was the head of campus security at the University of Utah, and right after he was hired there, he was immediately suspended because he didn't have the proper credentials. Utah then told him, we're going to fire you or you're going to have to resign. What's it going to be? So Rodney resigned, and Brown said, we'll take you. And right before this shooting, Brown's police union issued a vote of no confidence in Chief Rodney.
Okay, and he's been nowhere until he shows up 5 days into press conference. If you're the Brown University police chief, you go immediately to that shooting site.
But this is the whole point. This is the whole point. What you have is you have a bunch of people who are in authority up there. The mayor. Has the governor showed up yet?
Not yet.
Okay. The attorney general, who seems to want to run the show.
Yeah.
The police chief, the school police chief, and the president of the university, who all are obviously far left politically. And if this was a targeted shooting, they clearly do. They're very uncomfortable with that, even as an idea, and which tells you, that you suspect that they would try to cover it up.
Crum, we've got this other statement from a university official. You know those cameras that weren't in the old building?
Yeah.
Apparently they were. Clip 18.
We have 1,200 cameras located throughout the campus. We don't publish the locations of the cameras. That would give a map to somebody to evade detection on the cameras. So that would be counterproductive to do that. There are cameras in this building, and as I answered the previous question, we have turned over all evidence that we are holding at Brown to law enforcement and are cooperating fully with them.
So you're saying that there's a camera, you're saying there's cameras in the building. I was told yesterday there wasn't cameras in the building. The Attorney General said, old building, no cameras, attached to a new building with cameras.
I believe he said that there were two different phases of the building that might have two different levels of technology. Again, all video imagery has been turned over to law enforcement.
That doesn't make sense to a lot of people. Just want to say that.
Okay, so again, are there cameras in the building? Are there not? Now he's saying there were cameras, and they've given the video imagery from inside to the police, but the police aren't releasing them because
they would know that they know to the minute when this shooting started because of the students who were in the room.
Yeah.
Who they must have at least gotten that time. So with all those cameras that are on the campus, there's no way that somebody can evade all those cameras.
Not only that, did none of the students there have cell phones?
Right.
And take pictures? I mean, come on. You got to look at all their cell phones. All right, Crum, when we come back, she's back. Fani Willis, Kamala Harris, Ketanji Brown Jackson. Dun, dun, dun. Back after this.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Get in. We're stealing homes. We're not like those other home criminals that steal your stuff. We steal your hard-earned home equity. We find your property online from the public record. Got it. Create a deed transfer that makes us the homeowners. Got it. Then borrow tons of cash against your equity, and you won't know till the foreclosure notice hits months later.
Just go to HometitleLock.com/Godzilla. Protect yourself.
When you're learning something new, experience matters. At Lifestyles Unlimited, we've spent over 30 years teaching people how real estate investing works and how to build income with a clear, step-by-step strategy. Our program is designed to help you learn what to do, why it works, and how to take action at your own pace. Join today for just $297, a 60% savings off the regular price. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. As Christmas approaches, I want to pause and celebrate the true reason we gather together, Jesus Christ. His birth changed everything, and in my own life, He's carried my family through storms and reminded us that His love never fails. My prayer to you and your family is that you feel the love of a Savior who came for you. Merry Christmas, and may the peace of Christ fill your home all season long.
Paid for by Mark Pody for Senate, Candace Graham Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Well, Crom, she's back. She spent, what, $1.5 billion and blew it all and ended up in debt. Kamala Harris?
I do not subscribe to that opinion. I think she is a marvelous Democrat candidate. A marvelous Democrat candidate.
Well, you know,
and I certainly hope she runs again.
You know what she thinks?
Yes.
She thinks that the best Supreme Court justice ever is Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Which
Let's
is
play that
clip
right now.
I urge all of the people who are listening to and watching this interview, this conversation, to read her dissents, because one of the reasons why I was so supportive and advocated for her being on the court is I knew that at this moment in time, she would be in the minority, and that we needed someone who had the ability to deconstruct the complexities of law.
Okay. That's so. We need somebody to deconstruct the complexity. In other words, make crap up.
Let me say this. Because we're going to talk this segment about the 28 election.
Right.
We're going to kind of skip the midterms because we'll have lots of time to talk about the midterms.
Yeah.
So we're kind of leaping ahead here. But here's kind of my assessment. I think 2026 and 2027 will be incredibly good years for the United States economy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that J.D. Vance is doing a great job as vice president.
Right.
And recently, within the last couple of days, I believe Marco Rubio stated that if J.D. Vance runs, that Marco Rubio would not run.
And J.D. Vance will run.
And so I'm going to predict here that, assuming that my prediction about 26 and 27 is correct, is that J.D. Vance will run almost unopposed. There may be a couple of people, but it won't matter.
Yeah.
He will run almost unopposed, and Marco Rubio will end up being his running mate.
Yeah.
Now, having said this, so that's on the Republican side. So I do not believe there'll be a big fight.
So let me just say that is a good plan. And if you're Marco Rubio, he's what, 53, something like that?
Oh, it's
50.
Yeah.
And JD's like 42, something like that. If you're Marco Rubio, United States Speaker of the Florida House of Representatives, United States Senator, Secretary of State.
Yeah.
In theory, he'd have X number of years as vice president
8.
if elected, and then could run for president. He'd be well suited.
Yeah.
And that's a good plan.
Yeah.
With JD, because he's the VP, he's obviously the next choice.
That's right. And Trump will chime in on the ticket that he thinks is a great ticket,
and he'll say,
and let's just we're assuming here
he'll be Vance.
That'll be Vance Rubio.
Yeah.
So let's just say that. On the Democrat side, however, you have Gavin Newsom, who is trying to be the nominee without by acclamation. He's trying to become that. Kamala Harris is going, no, I'm going to be the nominee. And I think then there are a whole bunch of other Democrats who plan to run.
Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania.
I can name about 10. Perhaps
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Well, let's just go down the list here very quickly, and there's a long list. If we start as far west as we can, in addition to Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom, you have Ro Khanna, the congressman, who he may run.
Yeah.
You have the governor of Colorado who wants to run, Jared
Polis.
Jared Polis. You have Pritzker, who wants to run. You have
Mark Kelly, the senator from Arizona.
You have Mark Kelly, yes, who looks like he wants to run. You have Gretchen Whitmer, who wants to run. You have Andy Beshears, who wants to run.
Kentucky.
You have Wes Moore, who wants to run. You have
Maryland.
Josh Shapiro, who wants to run. You have Pete Buttigieg, who wants to run.
From Indiana
and I think Chris Murphy wants to run.
Yeah.
I think there'll be and did I say Spartacus?
Of
Cory
course,
Cory Booker. And so you've got about 10 or 12, who all want to run, in addition to Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris. And I think a lot of them think that Gavin Newsom is going to peak too soon.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to go out and try to compete against him now, but they will be able to bludgeon him with this single fact that say my opponent is governor of the state that has the highest cost of living of any state in the country. It's all because of him. If we care about lowering prices, don't look to him because he's been the governor of the state with the highest prices of everything. How does he answer that? How does he respond to that without crossing his legs? I mean, how does he do that? And Kamala Harris, she was not governor of California, so she doesn't have the burden. She can actually attack Gavin Newsom for being a lousy governor, which I think would be just delicious. And so I think with all of these people, I still think that there'll be at least 10 Democrats.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who run, who are either governor or senator, and I'm throwing in the one congressman from California,
Ro Khanna.
and then Ocasio-Cortez, if she runs,
yeah,
I'm not sure she will, but if she does run,
she'll be top 3.
She will be formidable.
Yeah.
She will be formidable
for the left.
For the left.
Yeah.
I'm saying within their primary.
We got a minute left.
And so it's interesting because normally it's the Republicans who have the big fight, and it's the Democrats who kind of
so let me
pick
wrap
who
this
they're going
up.
to run. Yeah, please.
Work like crazy to win the midterms.
Midterms key.
Then Vance Rubio.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a good future if that happens.
Yeah, and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas to you.
To you.
The original.
And Happy New Year, because I won't see you.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll be back with Tom Pappert. Big news. Harmeet Dillon going after blue state governors for violating the civil rights of MAGA supporters. I love it. Back after this.
Is a record player the best way to listen to music? Of course not. So why are you still taking vitamins in pill form that haven't been upgraded since the 1930s? Even if you don't have trouble swallowing, most vitamins in pill form can't be absorbed very well. It's time to upgrade to the pill-free future of vitamins. Advanced nutrition company, Healthy Cell, created a patent-pending ingestible gel that is clinically proven to have 265% the absorption rate of tablets. These physician-formulated supplements come in a small gel pack. You tear off the top and shoot it down. You can also mix it in water. They taste great, they're convenient on the go, and they're more natural too, without chemical binders, fillers, and coatings. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's healthycell.com. HEALTHYCELL.com.
The Katz and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
There's a number of Democratic members of Congress who are pushing for impeachment, not just going after the president, going after RFK Jr. and others.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Judge Weinberg.
Listen, it's the most important midterm in our lifetime.
Katz and Cosby, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
This is a big deal.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio Show.
This is WJFN, Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFV, Portsmouth.
This hour from Town Hall, I'm Rich Thomason. Catching the experts by surprise, consumer prices rose less than expected last month.
The Labor Department reports the Consumer Price Index was up 2.7% in November year over year, but trending downward from the September report, which came in at 3.0 and nearer to the Fed's 2% target for inflation. The numbers leapfrogged the month of October, making this the first report on current figures since the end of the government shutdown.
Correspondent George Williams. President Trump says he's working hard to fix a mess he was handed by the Biden administration, and that includes working to make life more affordable for Americans.
Here at home, we're bringing our economy back from the brink of ruin. The last administration and their allies in Congress looted our Treasury for trillions of dollars, driving up prices and everything at levels never seen before. I am bringing those high prices down and bringing them down very fast.
Mr. Trump addressing the nation last night from the White House. The FBI's number 2 official plans to resign next month.
FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino's planned resignation in January would be among the highest-profile departures of the Trump administration. The president suggested Bongino would return to his prior role as a popular podcast host.
Dan did a great job. I think he wants to go back to his show.
Bongino was an unconventional pick to be the FBI's second-in-command. Though he had previously worked as a New York City police officer and Secret Service agent, he had no prior experience at the Bureau. Greg Clugston, the White House.
A $901 billion defense spending bill is on its way to President Trump's desk after clearing the Senate, winning final congressional approval there. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 421 points. The NASDAQ higher as well. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-366-6161. That's 800-366-6161. 800-366-6161.
A snapshot of the European economy, and seems like things may be looking up.
Interest rates in Europe are going to stay right where they are at a meeting of European central bank officials. That's because the economy is doing better than some had expected and can get by without a boost from a rate cut. A cut at the meeting Thursday could backfire by worsening inflation. Analysts say that means no rate moves at all for a good while, and maybe for all of next year. Bank President Christine Lagarde has said at recent meetings that monetary policy remains in a good place, with the benchmark deposit rate at 2%. I'm Karen Shamas.
Rainfall this week on Iran's Hormuz Island has briefly transformed the coastline of the famed Red Beach into a striking natural scene. Red soil flowed into the sea, turning the water shades of deep red. The beach, known for its vivid red sand, cliffs created by high concentrations of iron oxide. News and analysis, townhall.com. Some people collect stamps, others collect coins. But this guy, well, he collects something entirely different.
Barnaby Wickham spends a lot of time on his bicycle and daily rides all around Baltimore. On these rides, he's collected 700 hubcaps, turning some litter into eye-catching art, including a giant fish and a head that looks like Peanuts character Snoopy. Now, just to clarify, these are hubcaps he finds along the road. Barnaby does not go around taking hubcaps off of cars. Jason Walker reporting.
Peter Arnett has died. The award-winning reporter spent decades dodging bullets and bombs, bringing the world eyewitness accounts of war, from the rice paddies of Vietnam to the deserts of Iraq. Battling prostate cancer, he entered hospice care on Saturday. Peter Arnett was 91 years old. More on these stories at townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are delighted to welcome to our Zoom newsmaker line right now our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, winner of the 2025 Dow Prize for the best local journalism in the country, along with Christina Botteri, our executive editor, and yours truly, the one, the only, Tom Pappert. Good morning, Tom. Tom, I think we need to get your audio working here. Let's see if we can get it going.
Good morning, Michael.
There you go. Well, so let's talk about this. You and I have been reporting for a long time about lawfare and the abuse of the legal system. We've seen it happen so much in the way the Department of Justice under the Biden era went after Trump supporters and really violated their rights. And so for so long, we've looked at, well, how can they get away with this? How can they get away with this? Yesterday, John Solomon of Just the News interviewed our good friend, the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, Harmeet Dillon, who is well known as a terrific attorney. And I think I'm going to have to point this out here before we get too much into the conversation. I suppose you could say Harmeet Dillon's law firm is standing in the waiting and has agreed to represent me and the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network. In the event the covenant litigation, the threatened possibility of copyright claims were ever to be made by the long involved, by the parents of the covenant children, not the ones that were, some that may have been killed, some that were not, but that put this into trust, where in the state litigation, they claimed copyright infringement. Now that we lost in trial court, we went ahead. We're probably going to win in appeals court because copyright is federal statute. It's not a state statute at all. But as you may recall, Tom, back in the covenant case, we legally obtained some of the documents, some of the manifesto, some of the investigative records, and we published stories based on that in June. And then we had the whole debacle where the Chancery Court judge, because of a complaint from a media competitor, hauled me into the court in June of 2024 for a full day, allegedly to see if she should charge me with criminal contempt of court and throw me in jail for 10 days. But we got there, and she wouldn't even explain why she had that idea and changed the topic on it. So we had that sort of hanging over our head when she, in July of 2024, she said, can't release that information from Metro Nashville Police Department because it's an ongoing investigation. And she made up this new idea that no one else ever had, that no statute ever had, that, well, the claim of copyright protection prohibited the release of the documents, which we challenged. We're probably going to win on that. We actually never published anything related to the Covenant Killer Manifesto until after we were in the clear in terms of no exposure from this judge. And we secured an attorney, a firm, to represent us in the event we ever got sued on the copyright thing, which is ludicrous. And the attorney that was going to do that and has agreed to do that if that suit ever comes up is the Harmeet Dillon's firm, Ronald Coleman. So awaiting in advance, if ever this ludicrous claim is brought in federal court, we will have the legal gun power of Harmeet Dillon's firm. That's all to put this in background, to know kind of what our relationship has been with Harmeet Dillon. She is a spectacular attorney, named properly to head the Civil Rights Division. And now give us a highlight of her interview with John Solomon last night and what she said may be the legal liability faced by blue state officials who tried to basically violate a statute called Conspiracy Against Rights. This is a law back from the 1870s, which was used to prosecute Ku Klux Klan members back then and kind of was resurrected in the 50s and 60s. With that very long setup, Tom, I know you're ready to give us the details of what she told John Solomon the Department of Justice is ready to do.
Well, Michael, she was specifically speaking, in reference to President Donald Trump and some of the state-level prosecutors and state-level actors that may have been conspiring against him over the last administration and potentially even earlier. She confirmed the Department of Justice is at the heart of considering these issues right now. She said she can't talk about specifics, but noted the Civil Rights Division and the DOJ do generally have a tool of criminal conspiracy statute for conspiracy against rights. This dates back to the start of the Ku Klux Klan and when the Klan and its predecessors used to go after people, and that they could involve sometimes local law enforcement to do that. Now, of course, she's talking specifically about President Donald Trump, but there has been a number of individuals and cases throughout the country where people have wondered if the Department of Justice, and particularly civil rights, would get involved. There's, of course, the electors case going on in Arizona. There's another electors case going on in Wisconsin. There's Tina Peters, who the state government of Colorado has refused to release, even as the federal government has said they want her. There's a good half dozen or more of these cases really from Joe Biden's administration that continue to exist at the state level. And this could be an option to go after and change the minds, perhaps, of some of these local officials. I would add that the Civil Rights Division at the Department of Justice has potentially been the most changed under the Trump administration. It's a very slow-moving process to change the makeup of these federal agencies. Who is going to work every day? Is it a bunch of partisan Democrats that are waiting out the clock on the Trump administration? I think that may be the case in other parts, but under Harmeet Dillon, they've seen a 75% turnover, where she has seen all of these Biden, Obama people quit their jobs rather than work for her under an administration that actually cares about the civil rights of the American people.
Tom, you know who's talked about this particular federal statute, conspiracy against rights, a lot? Our friend Mike Davis at the Article 3 Project. Let me just give a summary of this. It's called, 18 USC 241, I think it is. Right. And it is basically designed for the purpose of basically criminalizing any conspiracy of two or more people designed to deny the civil rights of any individual. They're starting off, I think, and I guess, let me ask you this. In the interview, she seemed to be a little bit, she didn't confirm that they're actually doing it, but that they are considering doing it. I read that we're going to do it. What do you think, Tom?
I think that's right, but I would say the evidence of that is that Harmeet Dillon specifically would not give specifics in terms of entities, individuals, states, and when they are being that vague, that to me can indicate that those things have already been determined. For example, perhaps we don't know anything for a fact, but maybe they've already decided we're going to open a civil rights case in the prosecution of Tina Peters, for example. So if they tell you about that, they're sort of putting their cards on the table. But she mentioned specifically this could include, in addition to law enforcement, lawyers who leak and betray confidence. For people who break their oath as attorneys, there could also be bar sanctions. So DOJ officials could also face investigation if they conspired with state-level prosecutors.
Let's come back now, and we'll go into the land of, okay, this is what she said they're starting to do. Let's you and I talk about which specific cases and why they might go after. Back with Tom Pappert after this.
Let's be real. Losing weight isn't just about looking good. It's about taking back control of your overall health. 42% of adults in America are classified as obese, and obesity is directly linked to severe health issues. If you've tried diets and different workouts with no success, it's not your fault. Big Food and Big Pharma have rigged the system against you with contradicting information, leaving you confused. But there's good news. The Wellness Company just launched Drop, a GLP-1 peptide oral drop formula developed by their chief medical board, specifically designed to support your metabolism, curb cravings, and help you shed weight. That's right. No injections, no risk of the severe side effects we're seeing with the Ozempic. Start your weight loss journey today and get $100 off, plus free shipping. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla100. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla100. Take action today for a healthier tomorrow.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are a $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now.
The math is simple. Every dollar we waste on unnecessary federal supervision is a dollar we can't use to fight violent crime. The Safer Supervision Act cuts bureaucratic waste and frees up law enforcement resources to protect families from serious threats. Law enforcement officers across the country and Republicans in Congress agree this is a smarter way to improve public safety. Stop the waste, protect our communities, fix federal supervision. Visit safersupervision.com to help. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This Christmas, my heart is filled with gratitude. The birth of Jesus Christ changed the world forever, bringing hope, peace, and a Savior who walks with us through every season. I'm grateful for this community, for your kindness, and for the chance to serve alongside you in a meaningful way throughout the year ahead. From my family to yours, Merry Christmas. May God bless you, your home. Happy birthday, Jesus.
Paid for by Mark Pody for Senate, Candace Graham Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back on our Zoom Newsmaker line right now, Tom Pappard. Tom, before we get to you and your analysis, let's show what John Solomon had to say, summarizing his interview with Harmeet Dillon.
Tonight on the show, Eric, we're going to have the Assistant Attorney General for civil rights in the Justice Department, Harmeet Dillon. She's going to say on the show, we've already done the interview, so we know what she's going to say. She's going to say on the show that she is looking at state and federal officials for engaging in a conspiracy to deprive conservatives, Donald Trump, and Trump supporters of their civil liberties, like what the KKK got charged with 40, 50, 60 years ago. That is a bombshell acknowledgement by a top Justice Department official that we may see soon. It's not the crimes we thought, right? Not going to be corruption, not going to be obstruction. It's going to be every conservative who got debanked, who got prosecuted falsely. This is going to be good. Their civil liberties were deprived, and it's going to be charged as a crime, which we haven't seen since the 1960 Civil Rights Movement. That is a big moment. I think people will look forward to see that interview.
It's a very big moment, Tom. And just to recap the law, it's 18 U.S. Code 241, conspiracy against rights. It's a federal criminal statute that prohibits two or more persons from conspiring to injure, oppress, threaten, or intimidate any person in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured by the Constitution. Now, it's interesting because it does not require an overt act. The agreement and intent alone suffice. This originated way back in 1870, the Enforcement Act of 1870, Section 6 thereof. Now, when they say, Tom, when she says they're looking at it, I think they've already begun the investigation. And to me, given the way they've set this up, obviously anybody who did this to Donald Trump, anybody who did it to the electors, the alternate electors, we've got a whole bunch of them in Arizona still in jeopardy. Also, I think Back to our friend in Wisconsin, who's being prosecuted by the Attorney General there, the former judge. I think this would apply to his case. And but the one that comes to mind right now is Tina Peters. Now, this is interesting because Tina Peters, the 70-year-old Gold Star mom, was charged with violating some state election laws, very questionable. And she's now serving a 9-year term in prison. She's 70 years old. There's reports that she's not being treated well in prison and that her life may be in danger. Let me just point this out. Penalties include fines up to 10 years of imprisonment, escalating to life imprisonment or death if death, kidnapping, or aggravated sexual abuse results. Well, I think Tina Peters' life, because of her treatment in prison, may well be in jeopardy. Your thoughts on this, Tom Pappert?
I think that's entirely possible. It's been alleged that she's had to spend the majority of the time she's been incarcerated in protective custody. That's where you spend 23 hours in a tiny cell, sort of like what Jeffrey Epstein was in at the end of his life. You spend 1 hour a day out, you get to shower and to walk around the yard or something like that. She's an elderly woman. The times that she spends in general population, she's allegedly being bullied by the other inmates. I mean, it's absolutely insane. But the real reason why I think she is a good candidate is because of how her case has played out. She's actually filed a federal lawsuit alleging malicious prosecution, retaliatory coordination between state and federal officials, and civil rights violations. So she has started to make the case that the government, the Harmeet Dillon and the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division would have to make is already pending in the courts from Tina Peters' lawyers. Not only that, but if you look at some of, just as an example, the viral videos of how the judge and the DA seem to be completely aligned against Peters, and you see the video, especially at her sentencing, when the judge talks down to this 70-year-old lady who was an election official. You may disagree with her performance as an election official, but speaks to her as though she is utterly beneath him. I think that additionally, the necessity to do this quickly, as you mentioned, could be why she is one of the first people. Now, of course, President Trump, I'm sure he's thinking about Jack Smith, Merrick Garland, Fani Willis, maybe even Chris Mays in Arizona, some of these people that have personally aggrieved him. But for the Trump administration and the DOJ, I think Tina Peters is perhaps the most logical option as far as somebody outside Trump directly.
Yeah, the other reason is I do think, I mean, she's elderly. There have been reports that she's been in the cells that are too cold. I've been seeing reports that she's gotten sick because of that. I haven't confirmed that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. She's a Gold Star mom. I mean, this is even out of compassion, the governor ought to pardon her like right away. But it's a state law, right? How do you? Right. We've struggled with this, and I've talked about it many times. If you're a conservative, if you're a Donald Trump supporter, you cannot get a fair trial in many blue states and blue cities. That's a reality. That is an absolute reality. And we have a very narrow window, I think, to make sure that this is addressed. And I think Harmeet Dillon is absolutely the right person to go after in this case. Your thoughts on that, Tom Pappert?
Well, it's a narrow window to get it started. The American people rightly want to see progress. They want to see the incremental improvements. But deep down, everybody knows, as you said earlier in the show with Crom Carmichael, if J.D. Vance manages to be the nominee in 2028 and the Democrats put up Gavin Newsom or AOC, we're not talking about a 4-year window to right these wrongs. We're talking about 12 years. And at that point, it becomes really, I think, let's get the most severe cases handled first. And Tina Peters could be that case. 9 years in prison, 70-year-old woman in poor health. I think that she would be a very strong case for the government to get involved. Not only that, but because of this situation that's played out with the pardon, where the Trump administration for months was saying, we want her in the federal system, give us Tina Peters. The governor said no. Trump pardons her and says, now we want her in the federal system, give us Tina Peters. The governor says no, and he's going to campaign on it. He seems to think this is going to make him president in 2028. Jared Polis, the governor of Colorado. So you have really an orchestrated, solid, unified front happening in Colorado, from the DA to the judge to the governor. It seems to me a conspiracy to deprive Tina Peters of her rights.
Yeah, it does seem to me as well. It's like, we're going to get her. And you mentioned that judge. That was a vicious lecture that he gave to her upon sentencing. I mean, it was very nasty. How could it? I don't even see how he could pretend to comport himself as an unbiased judge when he does that sort of stuff.
No, I don't either. And it's the type of insanity that you frankly and unfortunately see in a lot of these state courts. It was actually, the stakes were a little bit different, but it was reminiscent of a judge last year threatening to put you behind bars for doing the crime of journalism in the way that she didn't understand. That's kind of how these people operate with this level of hubris. And I think Harmeet Dillon needs to make a couple prominent examples to see, to show them that's not how the law actually works, at least not when there's a Republican in the White House.
Yeah, and back to the governor of Colorado. Now, you said, bring me up to speed on this. What's the most recent thing he said about a possible pardon? Has he doubled down against her? Is that I haven't seen that. But
yes, well, the Trump administration has numerous times said we want to put this lady in federal custody. That happened even before they pardoned her. President Trump pardoned her. And then after President Trump pardoned her, they said, again, give us custody of Tina Peters. She belongs in the federal system. The government is making its case for why she should be in a federal facility. Once she's in federal control, my understanding is Trump can let her out in compliance with the pardon. And the governor is very smugly posting to social media. He just had one the other day.
Really?
Like, Tina Peters is never getting out under my administration.
Is that what he said?
Something to that effect. It's a very sickening and very hubristic way to claim that this woman will die in prison, essentially.
Yeah, they want her to die in prison. That's what they want to do. I mean,
it's a death sentence when you're 70 years old. How many 79-year-olds do we see getting out of prison? I can think of like Sammy the Bull Gravano, the ex-mobster, and that's about it.
She's been in how long? A year? A little over a year? How long has she been in?
I think that sounds right. 8 months to 14 months, sometime in there.
Well, we're praying for her release, and we're praying that she survives prison in Colorado. Tom Pappert, thanks so much for joining us today. Excellent analysis, as always.
Thank you, Michael. Always a pleasure.
We'll have more when we get back. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
Is your fur maybe looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Befur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BefurandAfterGrooming.com. Befur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
Ready to turn your idle equipment into cash? Purple Wave Auction is your solution. We specialize in no-reserve online auctions, bringing nationwide buyers to your doorstep. From excavators to dozers, we'll market your assets to a vast audience of eager buyers. No hauling required. We photograph and list your equipment where it sits. Experience our transparent and simple process with expert support. Join successful sellers who trust Purple Wave. Visit purplewave.com today to learn how easy selling can be.
How much did you win at Rosie's Gaming Emporium?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Richmond. I won a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from West Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
There's a number of Democratic members of Congress who are pushing for impeachment, not just going after the president, going after RFK Jr. and others.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Judge Weinberg.
Listen, it's the most important midterm in our lifetime.
Cats and Cosby, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Frederick Media Network.
This is a big deal.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumber yard for $200 in hidden charges. And D.T. McCall & Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Our phone number is 615-814-2848. 615-814-2848. If you want to call, weigh in, we need three things from you. Tell our producer, Patrick. 1, your name. Number 2, your state of residence. And number 3, the topic. That's it. Very simple. You can also watch us on X Live, on YouTube, on Roku TV, on Fire Stick, and on Apple TV. 615-814-2848. 615-814-2848. Well, the theme of this segment is how crazy Democrats are. And we could spend 24 hours continuously with examples of it. We're going to put it down just into this 13-minute segment, and we'll start with Fani Willis. Yes, the Fulton County, that's Atlanta, district attorney, and she's in all sorts of hot water. She may, in fact, be somebody that you'll look at for this conspiracy against rights prosecution that Harmeet Dillon's looking at, because she was part of this group down there that filed a lawsuit against Donald Trump, put him in jail, right? He was booked down there, the famous mugshot. It was all made up stuff. And now a committee of the Georgia State Senate is asking her, what exactly did you do? And did you follow all the rules? She didn't. And she came in, she's decided her best defense is a good offense. and she didn't answer the questions. And this is sort of a train wreck. But hey, we want to show you this so you know kind of this is a typical Democrat today. Clip 16.
I don't review those documents, so you're asking me to look at documents that I haven't for the first time. What I can tell you is that I allowed Mr. Wade to bill 160 hours a week, and then Mr. Wade would be the first one in the office making sure that my staff arrived. He corrected their behavior. They thought that 8:30 meant 8:30. He taught them that 8:30 means 7:45. He got there before them. He left after him. He taught them how to do this case, and he was a leader to that team and a public servant. And for that, him like me has been threatened thousands of times. You want something to investigate as a legislature? Investigate how many times they've called me the N-word. Why don't you investigate that? Why don't you investigate them writing on my house? Why don't you investigate the fact that my house has been swatted? If you want something to do with your time that makes sense, and you can use all this in your campaign ad, you attacked Fonnie Willis. What have you done, sir? Nothing.
So I'm going to refer you to the screen.
Okay. That is... We would call that non-responsive. Okay. Look, I think she's in big trouble. She's playing to her political base. That may help. But legally, she's in big trouble. Now, so that's one view. And by the way, she talked about how great this Mr. Wade guy is, her lover, alleged lover. He had no previous experience in these kind of prosecutions. He's basically, kind of a traffic violation attorney. He didn't have any experience doing this, so this is kind of ridiculous. Okay, so let's go now to just show you the level of insanity of Democrats. And we're going to go all around the country to the blue state, the blue bastions. I'm going to start in Vermont. Now, as you know, I grew up across Lake Champlain from Vermont as a kid. And my grandmother was born in Burlington. We had family there, cousins, second cousins, in Vermont. And I used to go across the lake and talk to them all the time when I was a kid. When I was a kid, Vermont was Republican. And the people that lived in Vermont had been farmers there for years and years and years. It was so Republican, you may recall, that in the 1936 political landslide where the Democrats won the presidential election and carried all but two states, the two states were Maine and Vermont, and the political Democrat activist who was a postmaster general at that time, I think his name was James Farley, I think it was his name, said the famous, as Maine goes, it had been for many years, the saying a bit, as Maine goes, so goes the country. Well, in 1936, he said, as Maine goes, so goes Vermont. And there were, just a century, 2 centuries of Republican elected officials. George Aiken was the Republican senator there. But what happened in the early 1970s until today, the half a century since, the population, the demographics of the state of Vermont have changed dramatically. A lot of basically communist types from Brooklyn have moved up, like Bernie Sanders, and they're all progressives, and they all hate America. And the case in point now is they're represented they have only one representative in the House of Representatives. That's Becca Balint. Now, Becca is interesting. She has a bachelor's degree from Smith College. There's a few ditties I could say about Smith College. Our producer Patrick is aware of them. I won't say, though, right here. It's an all-women's college, or it has been historically in Western Massachusetts. She has a master's degree from Harvard University. She's lesbian, openly lesbian. She's the first LGBTQ person to represent Vermont in Congress, and she's a nutcase. Case in point, she's all in favor of making sure that every kid has the right to transition their gender. Let's play this clip right now. Representative Becca Balint.
Even for Republicans, this is extreme. Are we really attempting to lock up parents and doctors? Your kids' medical care is none of their damn business. We should call this obsession with your kids and what treatment they're getting in the pediatrician's office what it is. It's creepy. It's a creepy obsession, and we've had to deal with it for years. The science is clear. Evidence-based, medically necessary care for transgender youth is safe, it's effective, it's supported by every major medical association in the United States, including the American Medical Association and the American Academy of Pediatrics.
Well, that's a lie. And United States v. Scarametti, right? That case, it was decided 6-3 in favor of the Tennessee law that prohibits puberty blockers. Actually, the part that was challenged had to do with hormone therapy and puberty blockers. The actual surgery wasn't even challenged. So it is set in the law, and it's very clear. If you talk to Attorney General Scarametti and Matthew Rice, who argued the case, and you listen to Judge Alito, it's very clear that the medical evidence is, there's no evidence supporting that this is safe and good for kids. It was bad for kids. That's what all the evidence shows. But that speech, by the way, was a bill. It's sort of the last gasp of Marjorie Taylor Greene. The House passed a bill that would make transgender surgery, genital mutilation of kids, a felony. It passed in the House. It was pretty much a straight party line vote. All the Democrats want your doctors to be able to mutilate the genitals of kids. Now, that bill's going to go to the U.S. Senate. It'll probably be filibustered and not come to a vote. Having said that, that's the kind of person that you've got on the Democrat Party. The other kind of person is the mayor of Evanston, Illinois. He's kind of one of these lefty weasel guys, soy boy. He's a lefty soy boy. But he decides he wants to impede the operation of ICE. And here's a clip of him having that confrontation with an ICE officer in Evanston, Illinois. Clip 12.
You're not welcome with people as well. Why is that?
Excuse me, I'm so sorry.
Just back up just a little.
Yep, I'm sorry.
Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Just a little bit more. There you go.
So there he is, poking his finger at the ICE officers who were just, doing the normal arrest of illegal aliens. Okay, so let me just say, why is it that a mayor, what's the job of a mayor? Is it to, resist federal law enforcement? Oh, really? No, the job of the mayor is to make sure the streets are safe and the garbage is picked up. That's it. That's the job of the mayor. But these blue city mayors have decided they want to be the new United Nations, and they want to set up separate countries. Not a good idea. Okay, so let's go on now to Democrats in California who want reparations. Let's play this clip right now. Clip 17.
We'll move now to a story we've been following for several years. Reparations for black San Franciscans are back on the table.
And today, the San Francisco Board of Supervisors passed a measure that would create a fund designed to help black people who have been harmed by past city laws, including redlining from the 1950s through the 70s.
ABC 7 News political reporter Monica Madden is digging into the story for us. Monica, how much money would be added into this fund?
Dan and Alma, that's the kicker here. As things stand right now, the city is not appropriating a cent towards this reparations fund that might have made it easier to get the board's full support when the city is in a financial deficit. But supporters say at the least this sets up the framework for actual funding in the future.
Yeah, this is crazy. Reparations. Californians want reparations for historically. When did slavery exist in the United States of America? It existed until 1865, when the 13th Amendment was passed. So how long ago was that? That was a long time ago, folks. That was basically 155 years ago, a long time ago, 160 years ago, rather. And now all of these other, the discrimination they're talking about, when did that happen? More than half a century ago. When we come back, we'll have more. I'll give you some good news, and then we'll have Aaron Gulbinson in the third hour. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy, back after this.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Attention construction pros. Purple Wave Auction brings quality equipment to your fingertips. Join our bi-weekly online auctions featuring dozers, excavators, loaders, and more. We provide detailed listings, photos, and seller contact info. Inspect online or in person. With our no reserve policy, every item sells to the highest bidder. Visit purplewave.com today and see why informed builders choose Purple Wave. Transparent processes, real deals. Your next great purchase awaits. purplewave.com.
What if you had a plan to build income outside your job? At Lifestyles Unlimited, you'll learn how people are investing in real estate to grow their income and make smarter financial choices one property at a time. Right now, join us for just $297. That's a savings of $443 off our real estate education program. Text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
These illegal skill games that keep popping up, fights break out, they're illegal. We got drugs, we got gangs, they're all over the place. How do you get illegal slot machines in convenience stores when Governor Youngkin, you vetoed it, and no referendum, nobody passed it? How are they still here?
At the end of the day, it is local Commonwealth's attorneys that have to bring the cases against the establishments and to get them out. And so, yes, I vetoed bills. The high court has said that they can't be there. And on top of that, our attorney general has done a full investigation. And we go back to our Commonwealth's attorneys in so many jurisdictions refuse to enforce the law. That's the bottom line. They protect the criminals at the expense of the victims. And that's why, again, elections matter. We have got to elect prosecutors who will put people in jail.
This ad paid for by Churchill Downs.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. As Christmas approaches, I want to pause and celebrate the true reason we gather together, Jesus Christ. His birth changed everything, and in my own life, He's carried my family through storms and reminded us that His love never fails. My prayer to you and your family is that you feel the love of a Savior who came for you. Merry Christmas, and may the peace of Christ fill your home all season long.
Paid for by Mark Pody for Senate, Candace Graham Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Well, I promised some good news, and President Trump delivered some very good news about the border last night, just reminding you that we have a closed border now. Here we go, clip 21.
In driving up housing costs was the colossal border invasion. We have never been invaded. This is the worst thing that, frankly, in my opinion, the worst thing that the Biden administration did to our country is the invasion at the border. The last administration and their allies in Congress brought in millions and millions of migrants and gave them taxpayer-funded housing while your rent and housing costs skyrocketed. Over 60% of growth in the rental market came from foreign migrants. At the same time, illegal aliens stole American jobs and flooded emergency rooms, getting free health care and education paid for by you, the American taxpayer. They also increased the cost of law enforcement by numbers so high that they are not even to be mentioned. For the first time in 50 years, we are now seeing reverse migration as migrants go back home, leaving more housing and more jobs for Americans. In the year before my election, all net creation of jobs was going to foreign migrants. Since I took office, 100% of all net job creation has gone to American-born citizens. 100%.
Reverse migration, that's a big word and a good word. By the way, just look at the stagecraft of that. It was 19 minutes, and it was, a very focused 19 minutes. But look at the background, all the Christmas decorations. I thought that was a very, very good touch. Newt Gingrich was very impressed with his speech. Clip 7. Let's see what Newt had to say about it.
To watch President Trump give a 19-minute disciplined speech that covered that many facts was worthy of Ronald Reagan. That was a good speech. It was an important speech. Someday people will say it was one of the most important speeches of his career because it set the table for the entire debate over the next year and laid out what Biden did to make the country a disaster, what Trump has already done, and where we are going in general, and why that's the right direction. I think it's a very, very important speech.
Yeah, well, look, Newt, you're right. He set the table. That's what it was. What was he setting the table for? The midterm elections. And again, okay, I don't know about you, but, I'm kind of tired of all these elections. I mean, we had good news, of course. He wins in 2024. He's in office in January. But all of a sudden now, all these special elections. We just got through the Tennessee 7 special election, and now it's midterms, and the margin in the House is very narrow. And if they win, the Trump agenda is going to be very stifled going forward, and they could. Now we got to. I don't think they will, but we got to push. John Fredericks had his analysis of the speech with Steve Bannon. Here we go.
I think what the president did tonight, Steve, was he seized the narrative away from the fake news and the fraudcasters, which in my town, Washington, D.C., and yours, as you know, have been in overdrive in trying to pummel this administration into oblivion going into the midterms so they can get power back and impeach him. Everybody knows that. I thought his speech was intense, but the intensity was authentic. So this was authentic Trump. It was intense. It was focused. It was charged, but it was cogent. I think what you saw tonight is he outlined, hey, break through all this. Here's what I inherited when you elected me. You elected me to fix this. Now, here's what I've done in a year. This thing was so messed up. We had an invasion. We had all these illegals. We had inflation at 9-10%. We had jobs lost. Nobody could get a home. This thing was a complete and utter catastrophe. He outlined what I thought one of the best things he did was, here is why we have to get these illegals out. They're taking your jobs. They're taking your homes. They're taking housing. They're taking your tax money. You're paying for them. You're paying for them, and you can't afford to live. And they're living in hotels, and you're paying for their meals and education and health care. They go to the emergency room. So he outlined that. But the best thing he did tonight was, after explaining where we've been and where we are, he talked about where we're going. And look, he's not going to sit there like Bill Clinton and talk about empathy. Okay, it's not his thing. So we got to get that. That's not who we elected. But I thought he did a great job tonight in laying out, here's how your life is going to get better. And he did mention affordability. He didn't call it a hoax. He knows it's real. And he said, here's how I'm going to make your life better. You're going to get more money in your pocket. You're going to get the biggest rebate in the history of the United States coming when these tax refunds come. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime. A lot of people haven't realized this because it's still getting taken out of their check because the payroll services haven't caught up.
So let me just summarize this. By the way, John Fredericks had one particular phrase that was just perfect. The fraudcasters. And that's what we have going on. You know, the regime media, CBS, ABC, NBC, CNN, all those guys, MS Now, MS Never, I call them, they are in Washington Post still, New York Times. They are pushing false narratives, and you got to push back. And that's why Trump's speech last night was so important. Setting the stage for 2026 midterms. Hey, when we come back, our official guest host, Aaron Gobinson, will join us. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy, back after this.
The John Fredericks Radio Network is your home field advantage for Pittsburgh Steelers NFL football. Every play, every game, all season long.
Looking left and right, takes it, drops. Waits, turns and fires, and this one is caught for a touchdown in the front of the end zone. And it's that
is your home for Pittsburgh Steelers football. Hit johnfredericksradio.com/sports for schedule and game time.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social.
WENO Nashville, KQPN West Memphis. Get your winning plays and parlays from Godzilla Wins, Saturdays at 7 a.m. or click GodzillaWins.com.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Consumer prices rose less than expected last month. The Consumer Price Index was up 2.7% compared to a year ago, continuing an overall downward trend. That ties in with President Trump's speech to the nation last night. He said his administration has done a lot to reverse the inflation brought on by massive government spending under President Biden.
I am bringing those high prices down and bringing them down very fast. Let's look at the facts. Under the Biden administration, car prices rose 22% and in many states 30% or more. Gasoline rose 30 to 50%. Hotel rates rose 37%. Airfares rose 31%. Now under our leadership, they are all coming down and coming down fast.
The U.S. government now admits an air traffic controller and Army helicopter pilot had roles in causing that deadly collision last January that killed 67 people.
In an official response to the first lawsuit filed by one of the victims' families,
The government says the actions of an air traffic controller and the Army helicopter pilot played a role, and the government itself is liable. Authorities have said the helicopter was flying higher than allowed when it collided with the American Airlines regional jet as it was landing.
That's correspondent Ben Thomas reporting. A break in the rain in Washington state, but now the work of tallying up all the damage begins. Washington Governor Bob Ferguson telling KomoNews.com.
The impact on our infrastructure, for example, is profound. There's just really no way to sugarcoat that. And frankly, we don't really even know the full scale of the impact when it comes to our infrastructure and what we're facing until we see those waters finally recede and get a chance to really evaluate what the situation is.
And a barrage of storms from severe systems dumped up to 2 feet of rain in parts of the Cascade Mountains. On Wall Street, the Dow was up 301 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Got any gadgets? Get online protection. NordVPN has a ho-ho holiday deal just for you. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro feature helps you avoid malware, phishing, and annoying trackers. Just a few taps and you're safer online. Let your gadgets sparkle with online security. Go to NordVPN.com and get up to 77% off plus 3 extra months. NordVPN.
And now here's Rich Thomason with the Midday Wall Street Business Report.
Inflation slowed last month, with consumer prices rising 2.7% from a year ago, according to the Consumer Price Index. The November price report was delayed 8 days by the federal government's 43-day shutdown. Today's report gives investors, businesses, and policymakers their first look at the CPI since the September numbers were released on October 24th. The Bank of England has cut its key interest rate for the first time in 4 months, amid signs the persistent inflation that has plagued British consumers and businesses is starting to ease. The base rate is being reduced by a quarter point to 3 3/4%. India has signed a comprehensive economic partnership agreement with Oman. India looking to blunt the impact of steep U.S. tariffs. I'm Rich Thomason.
Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. New York's governor says she has reached a deal with state lawmakers to legalize medically assisted suicide. Here's correspondent Julie Walker.
In an op-ed in the Albany Times-Union Wednesday, Hochul said she supports the proposal, but has made a deal with lawmakers to include guardrails in the measure before she signs it into law. Hochul, a Catholic, said she came to the decision after hearing from New Yorkers in the throes of pain and suffering, as well as their children, while also considering opposition from individuals of many faiths who believe that deliberately shortening one's life violates the sanctity of life. Julie Walker, New York.
A business jet attempting to land at Statesville Regional Airport erupted into flames after crashing at about 10:30 in the morning, according to the FAA. The aircraft, a Cessna C-550, went down on the runway. Federal investigators from the NTSB and FAA.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, the official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, the head of the Tennessee Conservative Coalition, our good friend Aaron Gulbinson. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning.
Well, we have some breaking news, a couple of breaking stories. We're going to talk first about the breaking story from the Department of Health and Human Services. Just a few minutes ago, they announced a series of proposed regulatory actions to carry out President Trump's executive order directing HHS to end the practice of sex-rejecting procedures on children that expose young people to irreversible harm. These procedures include pharmaceutical or surgical interventions of specified types that attempt to align a child's physical appearance or body with an asserted identity different from their sex. Your thoughts?
Well, I think it's fantastic. Of course, Tennessee is led on this already. What I can give you a tiny bit of inside baseball. I know that this was something that the White House has been working on since day one, and really went into overdrive when the Supreme Court decision came down upholding Tennessee's law.
United States v. Scrimeti.
Yeah, banning child mutilation. So, and it's one of it's kind of one of the privileges of my life where it's several times a year, but then candidate Trump's team and President Trump's team will they know the work I've done on human trafficking and things like that, and honestly more so than me, the great state of Tennessee. So every now and then I get an outreach going, what more can we do? And I certainly had conversations on this topic, so it's very, very nice to see it fulfilled. But basically, they're doing, they're tying funding to it, and hospitals and other medical facilities, if they want to get Medicaid, Medicare, then they can't do it. And if they, which would obviously, they could choose suicide essentially from a business standpoint, or they or they stop it. So this will, by and large, stop child mutilation in our country. So
From the press release right now, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Dr. Oz runs that now, I think, will release a notice of proposed rulemaking to bar hospitals from performing sex-rejecting procedures on children under the age of 18 as a condition of participation in Medicare and Medicaid programs. Nearly all U.S. hospitals participate in Medicare and Medicaid, and this action is designed to ensure the government will not be in business with organizations that intentionally or unintentionally inflict permanent harm on children. CMS, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Service, is proposing this rulemaking pursuant to its long-standing authority in certain sections of law and the Social Security Act, which authorize the agency to establish standards necessary to protect patient health and safety in Medicare and Medicaid participating hospitals. Now, as I read this does not mean that it's stopped today. This is proposed rulemaking, right? There is a comment period, right, before it's finalized. And that typically takes, 30 to 60 days? And then they finalize it like 30 days after, right?
Proposed rulemaking, that's a procedural thing, right? So there's statutory, however many days it winds up being. It's usually somewhere in the 30 to 60-day range. But when they do it, it means it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is certainly not the type of thing that gets overturned. Now, I mean, I've seen things in the past where, well, let's just say the premium cigar industry was getting ready to get regulated in a obscene way, that got stopped. But what you'll see right now, the only other thing that could bar it from happening is a court, or delay it from happening is a court intervention. However,
come on. You think the left might go to court to try to stop this?
Oh, I'm sure the briefs are already filed.
Sure.
Or at least drafted. But here's the thing, and this is why this is so important. This has already basically been litigated by Tennessee.
Yeah.
At the U.S. Supreme Court.
There's a standard.
The precedent set by Jack Johnson, our Senate Majority Leader, our House Majority Leader, William Lamberth, and our great Attorney General, Jonathan Skrmetti, is literally the reason why President Trump and Secretary Kennedy are able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And that we know that, sure, the left will file a lawsuit, and there might be some they'll find an activist judge, they'll get a temporary stay. But we already know what the Supreme Court's going to do.
Well, there's a precedent.
So,
right? Now, interestingly enough, that case, the plaintiffs in that case did not address the law, the portion of the law that prohibited the surgery. They just challenged the puberty blockers and hormone therapy element to the law. The reason they didn't challenge the prohibition against genital mutilation is because they knew that would make it even less likely that the Supreme Court would rule in their favor.
Well, and listen, this is a very, very important thing because Leader Johnson and Leader Lamberth made sure that Tennessee's law, and this is what they do, would withstand judicial scrutiny. And they worked with the Attorney General to make sure that it was written in the manner to win and create this precedent. What I can tell you from my conversations with the White House policy shop and Tennessee experts, geez, big shocker that Tennessee's still leading the nation. In the conversations on the exact point here was made is how can we do this at the federal level that can withstand the judicial scrutiny and overcome activist judges, and the genius of this is that it ties it to, and this was the suggestion that was made in these conversations, that it ties to Medicaid, Medicare funding.
Yeah.
So you take away you take away the purse strings and it goes away.
But there will be a lawsuit. It's probably already been filed.
Yeah.
Because this rule, the proposed rulemaking, 60 days with comment period, then 30 days. So 90 to 120 days till it's final. So the courts won't take it up until the rule is finalized.
Right.
But the cases is a file right
There'll
now.
be a preemptory lawsuit probably challenged.
They will go to a leftist nutcase trial court judge, federal district court judge.
Probably someone with, purple hair,
Purple hair, yeah. And that person, that leftist judge, will issue a temporary restraining order, which will immediately be appealed. The Circuit Court of Appeals will probably just, stop that temporary stay. And clearly, based upon the United States v. Skermetti precedent that upheld the Tennessee law, there is no precedent leg to stand on to challenge this.
I want to underscore this point as we move into the midterms. President Trump's Republican Party and the Republican Congress, under President Trump's leadership, protects children. The Democrat Party, and whoever their standard bearer is this day of the week, mutilates children.
Mm-hmm.
They traffic children with, fixing the border attacks the industry of child and human trafficking. But the Republican Party is the child protection party. The Democrat Party is the child mutilation party.
Yeah, I don't see how you can argue with that. When we come back, we have new developments in the Brown University shooting. A couple of them, and they've made progress. Other elements are quite disturbing. Back with Aaron Gulbinson after this.
Hi folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just 1 scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Well, Aaron Gulbinson, Executive Director of the Tennessee Conservative Coalition. We've got some breaking news from the Brown University shooting that happened on Saturday. And there's been really virtually no progress until today. But I want to set this up with a report from Jack Posobiec yesterday about reports that one of the people who was killed, 19-year-old Ella Cooks from Alabama, a sophomore, was one of the 2 people killed. And there are reports that she was targeted by the shooter. Let's hear Jack Posobiec talking about this right now.
Phone near the White House just left. Jack, walk me through what we've learned this afternoon about the targeting of Ella Cook, sir.
Well, Steve, thanks again for having me on. And yes, just left the White House, although I wasn't there on this situation, had some other meetings. But the information I received does come from an extremely well-placed source, very high-level source, and someone who has a, let's just say, familial connection to one of the people that have been involved in this case. And the information that we've received, story that's come out of there, is that this was, in fact, targeted, that the assailant came in and fired multiple rounds directly at Ella Cook. And that the story that is coming up, that's being told at least by students on campus and people who are directly involved in this, is that seemed like she was the main target and everyone else was incidental. Now again,
it seemed, hang on, but also this person, the familial issue, is someone that was wounded, not killed, but was wounded in the shooting. And this is what they told, this is what their story is about what happened there, correct?
This is the story from in the room. Yes, and from this is what we're hearing from someone who was, like I said, directly involved in the situation.
And it was no doubt in their mind that Ella Cook was targeted and was actually the reason this it looked like this thing took place, or was the focus of attention by the assailant, correct?
That was the very question I asked. I said, did it seem that Ella was the target? They said yes, Ella was the target. Everyone else was incidental to being in the room. And that I did also ask regarding, was there any familiarity? Did someone recognize the assailant? They said no. And I said, what about these comments about a statement that was made or a phrase that was shouted? And it was unclear. They said it was unclear. Obviously, it was a chaotic situation. Bullets were being fired, but they also said that it seemed like many rounds were fired throughout this situation. That if this was a handgun, would have required reloads or a high capacity magazine, something like that.
Okay, so Aaron, now also just now, Aaron, we got the first look at this room. It's sort of an amphitheater type. You know how sometimes you have these classes that are like amphitheaters, and the professor instructors down at the bottom. The report that I think came from Fox News is that the assailant, dressed in mostly black with a black mask on, and either a heavy-set person or having some kind of something carried in the front, maybe where he hid the rifle, started shooting from the top.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's been reported, and that there were about 40 people in the room, and that the guy shot about 40 shots. Now, we've seen some other reports about Ella Cook being targeted. In this instance, what Jack Posobiec is saying, one of the kids who was either injured or in the room told a relative, okay, that's third-hand type stuff, right, that this is what happened and that Ella was targeted. I've also seen reports that she was hit with 9 or 10 bullets, which would, again, indicate targeting.
Right.
Now, the new news is there's a report, and I'm not really sure exactly the details on this, but there's a report that live ammunition has been recovered from the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this is like day 5 after it. You would think they would have recovered it, like within 5 hours, but nonetheless. And that there's one report that it may have fingerprints, the ammo may have, and DNA on it. But again, this has not been confirmed by the Clown Show Providence Police Department. I know. So that's a breaking
We'll
story.
know the full story within a year.
Well, I think we will. I mean, I think right now, if it's true.
A little slow, but,
I mean, again, all of this police stuff should have been done, within 12 hours.
Right.
Of the shooting. They should have interviewed all of the kids that were there. You saw the barely can be understandable police chief with that heavy Spanish accent.
Right.
Saying, well, we don't know how many kids were there. What are you talking about? I mean, apparently shortly after the shooting, the police came in and cordoned off the area.
I thought the Italian mafia ran Providence. This is just weird in 2025. Anyway,
change in demographics, right?
Trend de Aragua now. No, I'm just anyway.
I still am very skeptical that the Providence Police Department, the Brown University Police Department, the Rhode Island Attorney General's office are seriously trying to find out who the shooter was, especially in light that now these reports, unconfirmed by anybody in law enforcement, that Ella Cook, the beautiful 19-year-old girl, sophomore, outspoken conservative,
right,
vice president of the Republican Club, was targeted.
Well, listen, at the end of the day, this is sad to say, but when these things happen and they don't fit, a preferred narrative, then it gets slow walked. And if, you got lefty bureaucrats in charge, then it gets slow walked. This is, by the way, this is night and day with the Trump administration versus the Biden administration. I would, under Joe Biden and his puppeteers, I would have trusted local law enforcement far more. But under President Trump, I think I'm hoping. I think our answers are more likely to occur from the federal side of things.
I think you're right. And, it's interesting. I don't know why the FBI is not running this operation because, as we know from school shootings, right? When there's school shootings, the FBI swoops in. And they're basically running the parts of they're running it in cooperation with local law. That's what happened here in Covenant. I don't know why that's not happening at that same level in this shooting at Brown University. But apparently it is, yeah. There is one unconfirmed report, I don't know how they know this, that Ella Cook was shot 10 times in the head. Unconfirmed report. That would consider targeting. By the way, I was talking about this earlier. We cannot get a copy of the autopsy. Now, the Muslim kid who was killed and apparently was, standing near Ella Cook, their family on religious grounds are saying no autopsy. I don't know. And typically in a murder situation, standard operating procedure in Rhode Island is for the medical examiner to complete an autopsy. Weird thing about Rhode Island, the press cannot, it is illegal to release the autopsy of a murder victim to the press.
How long is that how long standing of a practice is that?
I think it's a long time.
That may go back to the mafia controlled days.
It could, but in a twist, the family of the victim can request the autopsy. And the family can then release the autopsy.
Okay.
Now, I think it's a little bit early to have any, clearly the funeral of this young girl is December 22nd. So sad down in Birmingham, or down in Alabama. But I think my guess is the parents, if I'm a parent, I'd ask for the autopsy.
Yeah.
As painful as it is, and then I would release it. But who knows what will happen on that. But clearly it would seem to me if the autopsy were to confirm the reports that she was shot 10 times, then that would clearly indicate targeting.
Yeah, demonstrate targeting.
Now, the way to get at this is, okay, who had a grudge against, who didn't like Ella Cook? She was apparently a wonderful young woman, but she was outspoken as a conservative. So therefore, the investigation, it seems to me, right now should be focusing on who had a grudge against Ella Cook. And obviously, if the thing that was shouted was Allahu Akbar, then you have some people to look at, it would seem to me.
Well, I mean, you look at, violence against conservatives is sadly far too common.
Well, and it's escalating. I mean, you look at it. Assassination attempts against Trump. Charlie Kirk assassinated in September. This could well be just an average kid, could be assassinated for her political beliefs. On that note, hey, when we come back, something else. We're going to talk about the Tennessee General Assembly. Back with Aaron Gobinson after this.
EJ Host here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at GlockStore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at GlockStore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show in studio. The official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show and the executive director of the Tennessee Conservative Coalition, Aaron Gulbinson. Before we get into Tennessee stuff, a couple national things. There's a Wall Street Journal article. Alan Dershowitz, remember him?
Yeah.
Professor emeritus at Harvard Law School.
Remember when everybody on the right hated his guts? But
now, he defended. He's part of the defense team in this. I think the second Trump impeachment. Didn't vote for. He voted for Biden, if you can believe that. But
he's a lawyer.
So he's gotten a book. I think this is what you might call craven publicity. But he wrote this book, Aaron, and he gave a copy of it. He met with the president on Tuesday. This is from the Wall Street Journal. President Trump on Tuesday received and discussed a draft copy promo of a book by lawyer Alan Dershowitz that studies whether Trump could constitutionally serve a third term as commander-in-chief. What's the name of the book? It's basically, the book is, here it is. Could President Trump constitutionally serve a third term?
If you go on President Trump's Truth Social, there's about 1 or 2 days a week that it looks like it's I'm gonna coin the phrase Trump Book Club, because
really
he's got his friends are always writing books and he promotes them. But
we'll get to this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have an opportunity. I'm going to call on President Trump.
Yeah.
See if I can get in the Oval Office and present him with a copy. We got an ebook coming out, How the Deep State Took Down Richard Nixon.
Right.
It's basically based on our documentary. What do you think? Hey, Mr. President, would you like to read a copy of this book, How the Deep State Took Down Richard Nixon? Oh, and by the last chapter is why they weren't able to take you down, Mr. President. Of course, that's probably all he would talk about, right? But hey,
it's a great book.
It's a great book.
Here's the title. They really get me.
read this last chapter. How Donald Trump, how they didn't take Donald Trump.
It's a beautiful book. We need Sean Farash here.
I
think, can't do that impersonation.
So let's be honest. There's there's an amendment, 22nd Amendment, which allowed this would discount it. Apparently, Bannon's been pushing this, and some tricks and turns that perhaps would be.
Here is something worth noting. When people with a microphone seemingly say and do things like denying the existence of the amendment to the Constitution that makes a president only be able to serve, 2 terms. I know this is going to shock people. There's an entertainment factor. And there's an audience building factor here. And if you're entertaining, you're more listen, you would rather hear Aaron Gulbertson spout off about whatever he's spouting off, and I mix a significant amount of substance into it. But, it's much more entertaining when you throw the jokes in or the silly stuff in or the fun stuff in rather than sitting here on the radio and reading the dictionary. Mm-hmm. So, there's an entertainment factor. And the biggest, most intelligent, best at it showman of all of this is Donald Trump.
Absolutely.
And of course he's go, no, it's fine. I'm not really going to run. And it'll be Vance, and then Rubio will, endorse him and probably be his VP.
So let me tell you how this is going to play out. Okay. This speculation will continue until the first day of the 2028 Republican presidential convention in Houston in the summer of 2020.
Oh, I think they're going to until the VP's officially installed on the ticket or
it'll be buzz
nominated
during
on the.
That's a good point. It will be the buzz during those couple days, right? And
I fully plan on going to Houston.
I
was in Wisconsin and that was fun, but
Houston
Texas is a better state than in my opinion.
Of course, Houston in the summer. Oh my goodness. But this will be something, don't you think?
I mean, you need a place to stay. I know somebody who owns some apartments in Houston, but anyway.
So I think though this would be really interesting, and it's all to keep the buzz going. That's it. And as you say, Trump doesn't want to be a lame dunk, and as long as this is out there, right? So he really won't be, quote, a lame duck until the third day of the Republican National Convention.
And let's be clear, he's not going
2028.
There are ways he could be a lame duck. I think you'll see later in his term, everybody who's running for re-election in 2028, or a significant portion of them, if they think it benefits them, or they may find ways they think it benefits them, then they may try and buck the president every now and then. But the president is going to be the largest looming political figure on his way out of office and probably halfway through the next president's first term, at least.
Yeah.
And because of the connection that Donald Trump has with his voter. The one challenge the Republican Party needs to solve, and the only person who could solve this for the Republican Party, is to fully connect the Trump voter with for 20 years, the Republican Party. And, the biggest bridge to that appears to me, as we sit here today on, December 18th, 2025, that President Trump anointing J.D. Vance and making sure that is a, light nomination fight, right? You may have Marjorie Taylor, what does he call her? Marjorie Taylor Brown now, but Marjorie Taylor Greene or somebody crazy, but
or Don Bacon, some fringe nutcase.
So, but if you have that, and you have to explain this amazing thing we talked about earlier in this hour, needs to be highlighted and highlighted over again. But what the brand needs to have more synergy.
In other words, the Trump Vance brand,
yes,
needs to morph into the Vance brand. Now, it's like
I mean, Reagan did it successfully, right? So
George
he transferred,
H.W..
but not just with George H.W. I mean, Newt Gingrich was a Reagan Republican when they led the 94 midterms, right?
Good point.
So it's beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I want to see. It would be great to have Republican control of Congress and the White House for much longer than 4 years. But I would like to see it for 20, 40, 50, 60,
Well, I think it has to be, actually. Otherwise,
otherwise we're just going to play ping pong here.
It'd be
4
terrible,
years of protecting children, 4 years of mutilating children, 4 years of wide gaping open U.S. southern borders, 4 years of ending illegal immigration. I mean,
we can't do that.
No,
we can't do that.
That's unfortunately, if it doesn't get built into something sustaining, what happens if you ping pong and the Democrats take power is we're literally just slowing our descent or pausing our descent.
Exactly right. Now, a couple other political
and
things.
Frankly, I got to tell you, in the absence, and while I'm on my soapbox, in the absence of a singular conservative movement figure, of a Rush Limbaugh on the media side of things, it's not going to be one of these rinky-dink, and most of them are, honestly. I don't care how big their audiences are. Podcasters who, depending on their paycheck, where it's coming from, change their stance on issues.
You mean like Tucker Carlson?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tucker.
Schmucker Carlson, as I call him.
Look, I mean, there's a guy who, he's really gone off the deep end. His big promo yesterday, you see this? He got it wrong. I don't think he cares. Tucker, you've really lost it. I'm sorry.
He's a political prostitute.
Well, he said, his prediction was, President Trump's going to declare war on Venezuela in his speech. Didn't happen.
Yeah, but
he outlined the
because
policies.
of the nature of the beast. So how much did people talk about Tucker Carlson yesterday, even though he said something completely not credible and completely wrong?
Yeah, and even worse is Candace Owens, but I don't even want to get into that.
No,
these are crazy people.
But I mean, this is where politics and pro wrestling overlap, because there was an irrelevant pro wrestler named Mick Foley that blasted Trump the other day, and they talked about him for 48 hours a lot.
Pro wrestling is more honest than politics.
Yes,
I think. Which is it is. I'm coming to understand why you like pro wrestling.
You need to do it. You need to do a special where it's me and Mayor Jacobs sitting here explaining and going into detail on this, and he's a lot more funny
Case in point
than I am.
of craziness. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's really gone off the deep end, in a huff, decides to resign from Congress.
Yes,
and now it's all about her, and she's gone lefty. She's like pictures with code pink. It's crazy. Who knows?
I appreciate new people coming in and adding their voice to the process as long as it's honest.
Right.
The problem with Marjorie Taylor Greene, who didn't get sworn into office until 21?
Mm-hmm.
You can tell. I remember Rush Limbaugh going on this rant one day in 2008, and he was talking about, I forget who he was talking about, but it was somebody who was new in the national scene, and he basically said was, "Where the heck were you when I was fighting Bill Clinton?
Yeah.
Why aren't you respecting?" And Marjorie Taylor Greene from day one was obvious that all she wanted was attention and to be famous, and she didn't have a sincere bone in her body. And she's also an advertisement against CrossFit, but anyway.
So they said, I got a Tennessee thing. Okay, so Matt Van Epps has been sworn in.
Yep.
We did a story. He's sworn in on his daughter's pink Bible.
Yep.
Mike Johnson says, first time I've ever sworn anybody in on a pink Bible.
Yep. Probably should have prepped the speaker for that before he made the comment, because I'm sure their office got a lot of email. It's a very touching story. I'm just saying they should have told it prior.
So, okay, how's Matt doing in his first week?
It's just fine. He's, voting with the president's agenda. It's
all good.
Listen, I said this, I think the day or two after he got elected, he saved his best speech for election night. He talked about how you do not run from President Trump. He is staying with President Trump. He's been in there a short period of time. But that's what he's doing. He's doing what he's supposed to do. I look forward to seeing Matt Menepes in Congress for a long time. I think he will be a good, strong warrior for President Trump and the America First agenda.
He's up for re-election already. He won't. I don't think he'll have a primary challenge, will he?
I don't know. I got to call him and be like, hey, so do you want me to start bad-mouthing you on the radio to prevent your primary challenge, or do you want me to keep praising you? I don't know. One or the other.
So the Democrats we got 60 seconds here. Will Afton Bain challenge him in November?
Afton Bain's going to do something that gets her more attention
than that. I agree.
So maybe statewide, maybe she
agree.
runs against Haggerty. Who knows?
When we come back, Aaron Goldman, it'll be time for News Potpourri. Back after this.
Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul Tea
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cell's Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, Aaron Goldman. Aaron, it's that time of day again. It's time for News Potpourri. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, News Potpourri. This is the portion of the program where we talk about the stories that are of note, don't necessarily merit a full segment, and may have a touch of
irony.
I don't want to say irony is not strong enough for this. You saw the story of the two Islamist terrorists in Sydney, Australia, who went to a beach. It was a Jewish Hanukkah celebration and murdered 15 people. They've got very strict gun control laws there. And the police arrived, and according to eyewitness, the Australian police were cowardly. Let's play this clip right now.
These police officers were hiding behind a car. I tried to grab one of their guns. One of the other one grabs and he says, "No, I'm trying to grab for his gun." These men, these police officers, they know who I am, and I hope they're hearing this. You are weak. You could have saved so many more people's lives. They were just standing there, listening and watching this all happen, holding me back. 2 police officers. Where are the others? Not there. Nobody was there.
Slow response and a cowardly response, according to this eyewitness who was in the line of fire at the beach. Your thoughts, Aaron?
I hope I like the public shaming of the police there.
They deserve it.
The Rapid Response 47, which is an official White House account, clearly the Trump administration is furthering the war on those that mutilate kids. The FDA announced today the FDA is taking action. They're sending warning letters to 12 manufacturers and retailers for the illegal marketing of breast binders for children for the purposes of treating gender dysphoria.
Crazy. Here's a story from Massachusetts. The Department of Justice has indicted 2 Haitians for $7 million in food stamp fraud. Oof. Are you surprised by that?
No. This is me just randomly surfing on X, which I really hope that this isn't real and this is just AI generated. But apparently, one of the officials, the video I'm watching here on X, our friend Matt Murphy has quote tweeted it saying this cannot be real. I think he's incredulous too.
I think I know what you're going to say.
But supposedly somebody on a press conference saying, please refrain from referring to the suspect as the brown
it's
shooter.
AI.
Okay.
It's AI.
Thank God.
So this is...
Okay, it's not... The world isn't as bad as I was worried.
Some phony Lyle guy. It's an AI deal.
Okay.
It's funny.
Funny. Well, PSA, if you see the same thing I did, there you go.
The guy's name is what? Lyle Wagner or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, go ahead. You got another?
I was going to say Secretary Kennedy earlier today in his remarks, actually like an hour ago, said sex rejecting procedures are neither safe nor effective treatments for children with gender dysphoria. This should make every sane American very, very happy. And Afton Bain is probably howling in her office right now.
I got one for you. Very troubling. Code Pink. They targeted Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. He was at a restaurant in Washington, D.C., the Adams Morgan neighborhood. And apparently they got quite aggressive with him. Where was the Secret Service? I mean, they ought to be there. Secret Service, used to be part of the Department of Treasury. Now it's...
Yeah, I was going to say, you would think that...
It's Homeland Security now. I think it ought to be
agency security, would at least. That's weird.
You would think.
It reminds me of something with Code Pink. This is a personal experience of mine that I will share the top line details. In the 2008 Republican National Convention, of course, they disrupted some of it, right? Because they got members in there. A friend of mine and I, wearing our Republican National Convention, and this was in Minneapolis, Minnesota, were approached by several members of Code Pink who offered various kinds of bribes if we were to give up our credentials so they could get in the convention. I turned them down. Other people apparently took them up on that offer in 2008.
Oh, there you go. Hey, this is kind of an interesting story out of New York City. Well, Rome, Italy, and New York City. Pope Leo, originally from Chicago, has replaced Cardinal Timothy Dolan to be the Archbishop of New York. The Archdiocese in New York, and with a guy from Chicago. Now, Timothy Dolan has been a pretty good pro-life leader. And the replacement, I'm a little concerned about this. We'll see. Because Pope Leo has kind of been a bit of a disappointment so far. Your thoughts?
Seems like a lefty pope. I mean, is it me, or has the Catholic Church become just a leftist organization?
Some of it has been. Now, interestingly enough, Pope Leo is better than Pope Francis, which is a very low bar, it would seem to me. But he does seem to lean left, and he does seem to be really all in favor of open borders. But we'll see how that plays out.
Unfortunately, there are several of not official church organs, but Catholic charities that have been exposed as aiding in illegal immigration.
In a Christian university in Illinois, Oliver Nazarene University, apparently death threats have been coming against a Turning Point USA local chapter officials there. Oof. Are you surprised? Look, where is this going? I think when we look at Ella Cook, it increasingly looked like she was the target.
Yeah,
because she was a leader of the Republican club in Brown University.
Well, yeah.
They've gone from trying to kill Donald Trump to killing Charlie Kirk in September. I think now you're going to see more and more efforts to murder conservatives in America from the left.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you listen, there's groups out there like Quilt, Queers United and Liberation of Tennessee. The Tennessee Star's done extensive reporting on it. I mean, they're out there and they're organized. So, I mean, by the way, everyone should really pray for America Fest this upcoming weekend, which is a Turning Point USA national
Aaron
event.
Gobinson, thanks for joining us. I hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Michael.
Merry Christmas, everybody. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks when we're back. We'll be back, basically, you'll be back after the new year.
Yes, sir.
All right, up next, Rob Carson. I'll be here tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. The website, TennesseeStar.com. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com. Listen to Michael Patrick Leahy and make America great again.
FlatFeeNashville.com is a full-service real estate brokerage that charges homeowners a upfront flat fee of $999 to completely list, market, and sell your home. We are all about saving consumers money, saving that equity. Nobody should hire an agent and feel like when that agent walks in the door, that agent is more concerned about the down payment on their next Mercedes purchase versus saving the equity that those homeowners have worked hard for. I've spent my entire career in ensuring that the equity that people save and they put into their monthly mortgage every single month, as much of that as we possibly can goes back to them when they go to list and sell that home. The idea is to give homeowners the ability to really create generational wealth.
FlatFeeNashville.com, FlatFeeNashville.com.